Hey there, my beautiful friend. Today we're diving into something powerful, something that, once you master it, can change how people respond to you, forever. We're talking about the art of influence and persuasion. Yes, my friend, this isn't just a skill, it's a weapon. And if you know how to use it, life will start to open doors you didn't even know existed. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I first came across this book, I wasn't impressed. It sat on my e-reader. I won't name the brand, no free ads here. And I thought, let me just skim through the intro and first chapter, no expectations. But what I found blew my mind, and I had to share it with you. The book is called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, by none other than Dr. Robert Cialdini. Why did he write it? Because he was sick and tired of being tricked. Salespeople, marketers, donation reps. He knew they were lying, but still, they convinced him. And that's when he realized, even with a PhD in psychology, he wasn't immune. So he made a decision, not just to read or theorize, but to go into the streets and find out, why do some people say yes, when deep down, they want to say no. And what he discovered will shift the way you see the world. Script Part 2, The Unconscious Yes. So Dr. Cialdini didn't just sit in his office, he joined real sales teams. He worked with marketers, real estate agents, charity reps, even powerful public speakers. He asked just one question: why does one person get rejected while another gets a yes, and he underjudged, saying the exact same thing? After 3 years of intense research, he uncovered something shocking. The most powerful form of persuasion happens without people even realizing it. Let me say that again. It's not logic. It's not shouting. It's not arguing. It's this: getting people to say yes, unconsciously. And to prove it, let me tell you the story that hooked me into the book. The story of his friend, a jewelry store owner. One day she called Dr. Cialdini, almost panicking. "Robert, something crazy just happened at my shop." She had a batch of turquoise jewelry, beautiful, but it just wouldn't sell. She tried everything, discounts, promotions, placing them right at the front of the store. Nothing worked. Tourists came in, looked, and left. She was done. So before going on a short trip, she left a handwritten note for her sales manager. "Sell these at 1-2 price." But, here's the twist. Her handwriting was messy, and the manager misread the note. Instead of selling them for half the price, she doubled it. Yes, she raised the price, and guess what happened? They sold out. Every last piece.
When she called Cialdini, she was confused. "What happened, Robert? How did they sell when the price went up?"
And he smiled, because he had the answer.
You didn't just change the price. You gave people a reason to believe the product was valuable.
You see, when we don't understand something, like gemstones or jewelry, we default to the price. High price, what high quality. Low price, what cheap and untrustworthy. By raising the price, she triggered a psychological shortcut in the minds of her customers. If it's expensive, it must be worth it. That, my friend, is one of the core principles of persuasion. The power of giving a reason. After that turquoise jewelry story, Dr. Cialdini dropped a bombshell. One of the strongest triggers for persuasion is simply giving a reason. That's it. It doesn't even have to be a good reason. It just has to be a reason. Let me explain.
Psychologist Ellen Langer from Harvard University ran a fascinating experiment. She walked up to people waiting in line to use a copy machine and asked, "Excuse me, may I cut in line? I have 5 pages to copy."
Guess what percentage of people let her in? Over 90%.
Now here's the catch. She tried the same thing again, but this time without a reason. "Excuse me, may I cut in line?" And the approval rate dropped to around 50%.
Same request, same tone, but without a reason. People hesitated.
Even when she gave a pointless reason like, "Can I cut in line because I need to make copies?" people still said yes.
Why? Because the word "because" acts like a psychological trigger. It switches off resistance and makes people more likely to agree, even if they're not fully thinking about it. Let's say I came to you and said, "Hey, can I borrow $1,000 until the end of the month?" You'd probably hesitate. You might say no, or maybe think twice. But what if I added a reason? Can I borrow $1,000 until the end of the month because I need to pay for urgent medical tests? Suddenly, your brain shifts. Now you're not just reacting to the number, you're reacting to the emotion behind it. Now imagine I told you, my brother is sick, just like your cousin last year. And we're going through the same thing you went through. Now it's personal. It hits your story, your values. And that's where persuasion becomes irresistible. So, what's the lesson? Whenever you ask for something, give a reason, even a small one, even a basic one. It increases your chances of hearing yes dramatically. And if you can make that reason emotional, or connect it to the other person's values, that's where real influence begins. The contrast trap. How your brain gets fooled. So, we've covered how giving a reason boosts your power of persuasion. Now let me take you deeper, into a psychological trick that influences your perception itself. It's called the contrast principle. And once you understand it, you'll see how often it controls your decisions. Without you realizing. Imagine this, you have 3 bowls of water in front of you, one ice cold, one room temperature, one warm. Put your right hand in the cold one, and your left hand in the warm one. Hold for 60 seconds. Now put both hands into the room temperature bowl. You'll be shocked. Your brain will tell you, your right hand feels the water is hot. Your left hand feels the water is cold. Same water, different perception. Why? Because your brain compares what it just felt to what it feels now. That's the power of contrast. Ever notice this? You walk into a store, they show you a $500 jacket first. You think, whoa, that's expensive. Then they show you a shirt for $95. Suddenly that shirt feels cheap, even though $95 for a shirt is still a lot. You didn't compare it to reality. You compared it to the $500 jacket. That's the trap. It's how we anchor our decisions emotionally. Remember the turquoise jewelry? The shop owner accidentally doubled the price, and people rushed to buy. Why? Because the high price made it seem valuable. Then, she started running fake sales. Was $400, now $200. People thought they were winning. But the real price was always $200. She used 2 principles at once. 1. Reason, high price, must be high quality. 2. Contrast. Now it's cheaper, better deal. Brilliant, and slightly evil. The contrast principle doesn't just affect shopping, it affects how you see yourself. You scroll Instagram, everyone's on vacation, everyone has 6-packs, Lamborghinis, perfect relationships. Then, you look at your life, and it suddenly feels less. Even if your life was just fine a minute ago. Your brain is trapped in contrast. That's why so many people feel anxious, insecure, or unsatisfied. Not because their life is bad, but because they're always comparing. The takeaway: if you want to influence someone, use contrast. Ask for 2 things. One that's extreme, one that's what you actually want. They'll reject the first, but the second will feel reasonable, and most importantly, it'll feel like their decision. That's the magic of contrast. Let me share with you one of the smartest, sneakiest persuasion tricks ever used. A college student wrote this letter to her parents. They hadn't heard from her in weeks. Then, this arrived in the mail. Dear Mom and Dad, I know I've been terrible at writing since I left for college. I'm sorry if it seemed like I don't think about you. I do, but before I share my news, please sit down. I mean it. Sit. Okay. Here's what happened. I had a little accident. There was a fire in my dorm room. I had to jump out of the 2nd floor window to escape. I broke my skull and had a mild brain concussion. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. The good news, my vision is mostly back and the headaches only happen once a day now. While I was recovering, I met a kind gas station worker who took care of me. Since I had no place to stay after the fire, he let me move into his basement apartment. He's such a sweet guy. And we're engaged. I know it's sudden, but we're planning the wedding soon. Also, you'll be grandparents. We're expecting. And yes, we'll get married before the baby comes, I promise. Much love, your daughter, Sharon. P.S. None of this is true, but I did fail chemistry and math. I just wanted to make that sound a bit better. See what she did? She gave them a massive emotional shock, then made the real bad news sound like nothing in comparison. That's the contrast principle in action. On an emotional level, when your brain expects disaster and gets something milder, it feels like relief. What you can learn from this, whether you're negotiating a deal, pitching an idea, asking your parents for a favor, selling your product online, or simply convincing a friend, the way you present information matters more than the information itself. Use a strong reason for your request, a sense of urgency or emotional trigger, and a clever use of contrast to shift their perception. When done right, they won't even feel like they've been persuaded. They'll feel like it was their idea all along. This is just a taste of the power inside the book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Dr. Robert Cialdini. If this chapter blew your mind, imagine what the rest of the book can do for you. So grab your coffee, rewatch this video if needed. And remember, the most powerful persuasion is the one that feels invisible. And now, you hold the blueprint. If you enjoyed this episode of Dopamic Caffeine Chapter 1, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss the next dose of dopamine plus deep thinking. Share this with a friend who's into psychology, persuasion, or just love stories. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll see you next week, my beautiful friend. Shapas Adauras.